Good morning, America! Today we are looking at the context of Ranma 1/2 in the Anything Goes video that I danced to, and you can too. Ranma 1/2 is a Japanese manga written in 1987 to 1996. It was written and illustrated by Rumiko Takahashi. She's one of Japan's best known and wealthiest manga artists. From Wikipedia, quote, Ranma 1/2 features a gender-bending twist. Ranma Sayotome and his father fall into pools of water while training in China, which they swam to from Japan. In one pool, a panda died blank years ago, while in the other pool, a young girl drowned blank years ago, in like the thousands. And now whenever... Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead. Ranma falls into the girl pool, and now whenever he is splashed with cold water, he becomes a girl. Only hot water can change him back. His father falls into the panda pool. His father wants to pass on the Anything Goes martial arts school to his son. Whoop! Hi, Bento. It was founded by an old pervert, but his two disciples, Jinma, Ramna's father, and Sun, Tendo, who is of the Tendo Dojo, are too chicken to stand up to him. Quote, he is the man who founded the Anything Goes dojo is a, quote, he is a definition of a dirty old man, says the Ranma wiki. Anything Goes martial arts was founded by a pervert, split into the Tendo Dojo and the Anything Goes Satome martial arts dojo, and then is reinvented by the children of Sun and Jinma, who are Akane, who you can see on the right, and Ramna, who is on the left. The Anything Goes martial arts is, quote, learning and adapting many different styles in martial arts, taking what works and discarding what doesn't, end quote, on the Ranma wiki. There is no single way of thinking. It creates fighters who are adaptable and unpredictable in a fight. Which, on a side note, unpredictability is what breaks the chaos of authoritarian regimes. Ranma and Akane are told they are fiancés against their will, it's just decided for them, and that they will unite the Anything Goes Academy. Neither of them are happy about it, and they fight it a lot. They do like each other, but because the relationship is forced on them, it makes them have a difficult time creating a relationship, because it was founded on responsibility and discipline and obeying their elders. Ranma Sayotome is a 16-year-old heir to the Sayotome branch of Anything Goes martial arts. His father made a deal with Sun Tendo while he was very young, that he would marry one of Sun's daughters. He was raised to be a, quote, man among men, end quote. He struggles to understand the need for modesty when he is a girl. And that has a lot of references to just like, even like culture today. A lot of times trans people understand both genders and the expectations of both genders better than other people, because they are forced to see things from a different perspective than what they were raised to have, if that makes sense. So like Ranma raised a boy, it feels like it's totally okay to walk around without a shirt on. And the girls, Akane and her sisters, are constantly throwing clothes on him to the point where they just start dressing him. And he gets angry about this and oftentimes feels okay doing some things as a girl that he likes to do, but wouldn't have done it if he was in his male body, which we'll get to in a second. He likes everything manly and looks down on women, quote, particularly for their fighting styles and their emotions, end quote. As the series progresses, he becomes more empathetic, because he is now experiencing the world from a female perspective and a male perspective, and seeing the dichotomy between them. He experiences sexual assault and harassment as a girl, as well as the frustrations of dealing with men who don't listen. He takes pride in his appearance as a girl, fights just as much, and learns new forms of martial arts he never would have had access to in his male body. That is not to say that it is because the female body was better at these martial arts. It was just because a lot of things have been gendered. You know, baseball for girls. Baseball for boys, softball for girls, volleyball's for girls. Oh, but boys can play beach volleyball. Oh, now they can play inside volleyball. Like, we make arbitrary rules about stuff to make life make more sense, but it becomes more complicated because then you have people like me who, I love playing baseball. Actually, you can, right? Let's see if I can, look, my baseball glove's right there. I never got to play baseball, and my hands were too small for softball. So I just had to watch my brothers play and look for coins under the bleachers so I could buy a gum or a hot dog. Back to Ranma. Boop. Okay. He even has a parfait claiming that he always wanted to try one, but they are for girls. And he loves the parfait. And this becomes a theme. Like, he feels okay wearing a unitard as a girl, but not as a guy. He feels okay having certain foods as a girl, but he doesn't feel like he could do it as a guy. And that's kind of where trans people come in. Trans people experience what it's like to be told, no, you can't do that because you are this gender. And then when they live as the other gender and people put these new life rules on them, they get a new perspective that they never would have had if they had just forced themselves to be uncomfortable and live an unauthentic life. So Ranma is accepted by his loved ones for his body, and he loses his sense of urgency to only be a man by the end of the series. He loves girls as a girl, and that's a really big thing. His first kiss was in a female form, but it was against his will. It made him so upset that he ran to the bathroom and cried because it was in front of Akane. And the rest of the episode, he is focused on making sure Akane is not assaulted by the same guy. And it's not because he feels like he owns Akane. It doesn't feel like, it's not because Akane's just his fiancé, so he has to do it. He's doing it because he knows what it feels like to be kissed against your will. And I personally understand that. I didn't get to choose my first kiss. My first kiss was against my will while I was sleeping in the kids' room. My cousin decided that I was the perfect practice dummy. And then I had to be silent for the next 10 years about it. For 10 years, I didn't stand up, and he got to walk around unapologetically himself. Ranma 1/2 teaches us lots of lessons. It teaches us that it's okay to be a man, it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to love men as a man, and it's okay to love women as a woman. The Sao Tome School ultimate technique of anything goes is panicked flight from the enemy. 1, run. 2, ruminate. And 3, re-engage. We're just gonna sit with that for a second. We live in a society where girls and boys are assaulted, and we just put the rug over it. We have thrown the baby out with the bathwater because we just blamed the baby for being in the bathwater when it was thrown out. We have treated the children in our nation as dummies, practice dummies, as tools, as free labor, as mini-me's. You're not you, you're me. Because you're my child. Mine, mine, mine. But also, you're your husband's. So when you're not mine, you're someone else's. Women are owned in this country. In America, we don't treat women like people who are deserving of their own autonomy. We treat women as if they are dummies. It shouldn't take this much effort to just have basic rights to our bodily autonomy. And we had it for a little bit and we lost it. In America, and especially here in Oklahoma, you better not have a miscarriage, because you're not going to get help. The doctors will not help you. Miscarriages are natural. I worked with animals and I saw miscarriages in horses, in cats, in dogs. I have seen an abortion when it comes to animals, but I have also seen births. And I have seen what happens after birth when there aren't caregivers around to take care of the babies once they're here. Working in a neonatal kitten shelter really helped me see the beauty of life and how devastating it is when even a baby doesn't matter once it's alive. There's a lady doing a social experiment where she is calling churches here in America and asking them if they had baby formula that could help her and her starving child. And most said no. There was a Muslim temple that said yes immediately. But not just that, they asked what kind of milk she needed, what kind of formula milk she needed. They asked her if she could get there, and if not, if someone could drive to her and bring her the formula. They went above and beyond. And she was shocked because she had so many no's that she was like, thank you so much, I want you to know this is a social experiment, there is no baby in need. Can I just share your temple online so people know that they can come to you for help? And he was like, yeah, sure, it's the least we can do. In America, Christian churches go above and beyond to take resources away from people while claiming that they need tax reductions because they do things for God and because they do things in the service of God. The Methodist church that I grew up in decided that they would not allow trans people to get married in their church. I cannot get married in my childhood church. And I'm only 28 years old. I watched the water turn the frogs gay. I experienced my father identifying as a flying helicopter. And honestly, I've ruminated enough. And I'm fighting back with what I can. Art, my own story, and acting. While also showing authenticity. Sunflowers grow once. One seed can produce millions, but if you chop that sunflower down before it finishes growing, there are no seeds, there are no petals. It's just a stem that decays and leaves nothing behind. Sunflowers have been my flower of the year because the ones that I was growing out front were all taken down because the tumor in my elbow made it really hard to mow, and the people who were listening to what I needed were either telling me, no, you don't need that, let me do it my way, or they didn't think I was trying hard enough to protect what I loved. And so I ended up losing them before they even grew. And I cried for flowers. I still get sad sometimes because I grew some from birdseed in my backyard, but then the frost came just as the flowers were opening. So twice this year I've experienced sunflowers being taken out before they finish blooming. And I gotta admit, it makes me think of school shootings and of children of immigrant families. It makes me think of all the young girls who didn't get a first kiss, or whose first experience with sex was not what they had expected. It makes me think of all of the animals in shelters that were either bred to be sold and then didn't make their owners any profit, so they were just dumped. That's how I have all of my animals, because they were dumped. 4 cats, a dog, and a guinea pig, all dumped. And they are so wonderful. They are beyond sweet and loving and kind and adorable, and just, they didn't deserve it. No child deserves to get shot in a school. No child deserves to be neglected by their church and loved ones because of their gender identity or their sexual preferences. No girl deserves to be sexually abused, and neither does any boy. If you lived a day in a different gender, how do you think that day would go? How would people treat you if all of a sudden you looked differently? How would you treat yourself differently?